Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Breaking Keyfabe, episode 20. I am your host, Larry. This is the Shadowed City podcast, and I wait upon my guest, Alfie Jaxyn, member of the Detriment. And also, he has a show going on for his own talk show tomorrow, so go check that out. Sentiment with the Detriment. I do hope everybody is having a great day, good night, good morning, good afternoon, wherever y'all may be.
Hello.
Welcome, welcome. How are you, sir?
I am good. Yourself?
Not too bad. I've been very excited for this interview, and this is a true honor for me for you even give me the time of day.
No worries. Happy to do so.
And I was just telling the people to check out your talk show tomorrow, Sentiment with the Detriment. What time would it be?
It is 8:30 UK time. I don't know what time it is in your time zone.
Right now it is 12:14. For some reason, I got my times mixed up, thinking that when you said 8 p.m. your time, I was thinking, oh, it was going to be this time, but then I realized it was a different time, so that was on me.
I don't get time zones. I'm not gonna lie to you.
it it takes me a while to get used to them at times. It just depends on where you are, and it's just I've been interviewing a lot of you guys from the UK scene, and it's true honor that you guys are willing to give me the time of day. Like anybody that I interview for this side of the podcast, you guys are true heroes to me. You guys are pro wrestlers busting your butts out there, and it's you guys could actually get hurt. And what you guys do to me has always been real. I don't see it as fake because you guys could actually hurt yourself.
Yeah, of course. Luckily, I haven't been
But
injured so far in my career. At least I don't believe I have.
you've had like storyline injuries.
Oh yeah, storyline injuries. A few close calls, but never anything that's kept us away from the show or away from training.
And you're always there on training on time, like you train every single day or like a few times a week. What's that like for you?
Training once a week. I wouldn't say I'm on time. Me partner hybrid, tag partner hybrid. He normally picks us up and takes us. So if we're late, it's normally his fault. Do a cheeky little cartel karaoke.
Karaoke.
Yeah, you'll see the video on the IWF's page. We do karaoke, man. Cartbill karaoke.
Well, that I gotta check this out. I'll definitely check this out after. That's awesome. You guys have become quite a tandem together, and you guys have started your own thing, the Sentiment with the Detriment. Do you want to tell us how that came about?
So for years, me and Hybrid have wanted a team. In CCW when he first came, we had a conversation. Like we have similar wrestling styles, kinda. Like both strikers, we both like our strikes and stuff like that, like kicks and stuff like that. And we get on really well outside the ring, like outside of the wrestling, we get on really well. And we were saying for years that like it would be sick if we could team, and it just never happened in CCW. So then when we all left and IWF started, we were asked do we wanted to be a team, and we were like 100% yeah. And ever since then, like the last year, we've just gotten closer, and as a friendship, and even as a team, as a wrestler as well, we've both improved each other. Even a boss.
Yes. Prince Dagon, one of the founders of IWF, is here, and welcome Ethan Dixon. And you guys almost got the chance to team up in CCW, being part of what you guys called the Elite Tier when you were part of Top Tier, coming in with the Elite 2.0.
Yes. Um, yeah, we it was going to be an exciting storyline if things played out the way it was supposed to play out. I imagine the fans would have enjoyed it, but stuff happens for a reason. I'm not going to come on here and badmouth people or anything, but I truly believe everything happens for a reason. If If I was supposed to be there now, I would have been, but I'm not. We all move on and stuff like that.
And you were taking out in storyline, which never came to be. Can you tell us about who that was supposed to be?
I probably could, but I can't remember.
Okay.
Um, I'll be 1,000% honest here. Um, I have to get reminded so many times about storylines, etc., because I just don't have the attention span I should realistically have.
Okay. Understandable. Welcome to Lilac Demon Spawn. Welcome Jake Butler and Ethan Dixon asks, how are you doing, Alfie?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. It's going to be a tough week, but we're in it together.
Indeed. How did you get into pro wrestling and what inspired you to pursue it?
Uh, I got into what? So as a fan or altogether? What do you mean?
Just like altogether, like both. Like when you like became a fan and where you are now as a pro wrestler, like what got you into inspiring to do it?
So I've been a fan since as long as I remember. I started when I was a kid, like 4 years old. My dad used to stick it on, but he used to. So we didn't have like Sky or anything, so we used to watch World of Sport wrestling, and I've always thought that was cool. And then I don't know if people can remember, but there used to be a TV channel called Challenge. I think it had a different name change to. Oh, I can't remember. It had a name change, but it used to be called Challenge here in the UK, and that would film. Oh, he's fucking. Oh, he's back. Uh, but there used to be a TV channel, and it used to have TNA on the night. So that was my first sense of watching wrestling. It wasn't WWE; it was TNA, and
Wow.
that's where I got my favorites like Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, etc. Um, Sting, like Joker Sting, my favorite of all time. But and then as a wrestler, um, I was going through some issues when I was through my teenage years, and when I was like 16 years old, my dad heard hybrid flirt.
Good
Dad
old
heard
hybrid.
My dad heard of this wrestling company in the local area, and this is going to sound bad when I'm saying it now, but back then I had no intention. I've always looked at wrestling like, why would I want to go see it live when I watch it on TV or something, and I have commentary and I have different shots. But anyway, my dad dragged us on to the first show, and I enjoyed it. We left at half time because of personal matters that were going on. And like a week later, my dad was like, I've got a wrestling skill. Do you want to do it? And I was like, no, not really. But then me dad being me dad, he guilt tripped us. He's like, I've got a load of health issues. I want you to see you do something that you like. So he picked us up from college, took us to training, bought everything that I needed for it, like my knee pads, stuff like that. And he came to the first three training sessions, and like the smile on his face was like unbelievable. So I was like, I'll stick to it. And originally, I thought I would never stick to the wrestling that I have done, but this is my 6 year in it since training, and I do believe it's 6 year actually. I'll have to get Diego to fact check that, but I'm sure. No, I'm sure this is coming up me fifth or sixth year. Um, but it's just been a crazy time.
Wow. Amazing. And you have a long way to go. 6 years in, man. Can't wait to see you when you're in twenties
It is.
years in.
Again, I could be wrong. It's either 5 or 6.
Well, what was the year? Do you remember the year you exactly debuted?
Uh, Fifth year.
So it's fifth year. So
I can't
if
remember
I'm
the year that I debuted.
what, 2022 probably.
Sorry,
2022 probably, if not 2021.
no, 2022. Yeah, I think I debuted on the Rumble. Yes, cause it was my sister's wedding the night before I debuted, and I had to travel up from
Okay.
South. Yes, yes,
Very
it was. So my first ever stepping in a ring. was I started training in December 2021.
Right there.
Maddie,
Yeah,
what's
that was my mistake, Matthew. I apologize. My timing was my bad. So blame me for that.
right? I debuted in a Rumble, and I'm pretty sure I wrestled in the same shirt and bottoms that I wore to my sister's wedding. But it was crazy.
And you trained the same day as Spawn, what Dagon said.
Yeah, I did. No, yeah, that's right. So we've all me and Spawn's always had this connection. We're not too similar in age. There's like 2-3 year between us, but over the last few years, he has become like me brother, and he's that annoying brat that constantly loves to wind us up. But yeah, me and Spawns, we've trained since the same time, and we've went through a lot of stuff together.
Yeah. Okay. Welcome, Rob Galbraith. Welcome, Matthew, of course. Uh, I'll have to get Peter to sort you out. Probably, man. Well, they don't call him Peter Law for nothing if that's who you're talking about. I would assume.
People,
Well, let's
yeah,
check out.
yes,
Okay.
let's just put
Welcome.
the spell up. There we go. There we
Yeah.
go.
Welcome,
But
Colton. Um, how do you approach character development, and how has your persona evolved over time?
um, I don't think it, I don't think I can really answer that because it's just naturally evolved. The Alfie Jaxyn isn't too different than what I am. Like,
Okay.
there's not much difference between Alistair and Alfie, except one has to get limited on what you can say to people. Um, but yeah, like I think that's why I relate so much because I don't need to put a mask on or anything, and I can just literally just be myself as soon as I walk out them curtains.
Okay. Well said. And what did that?
Sorry, you froze.
Oh, my bad. Alf, you were called Alfie Nerds. Like, you
Yes.
want to talk about where that is? That also an extension of yourself as well?
No, it's not. When I first wore glasses, when I first started training, someone said that I looked like a nerd, and that kind of stuck on. We went to a local show. There was a nerdy character, and Barris was like, "You could probably do that," and I was like, "Probably." And I didn't like the way that nerds was spelt. I wanted it to be kind of unique, so I took inspiration from. I don't know why, because when I've realised he doesn't do it, but Dolph Ziggler, the DZ,
Yeah.
I liked
Okay.
that. So when I had nerds, I took out the A and I took out the S, and I was like, I'm so unique, and I had that there. And it's the same way, like I don't spell Jackson how most people would spell Jackson because I find
Yeah.
it like a unique spelling.
Indeed. It is very unique. I haven't seen anybody spelled like that until I met you. I thought it was just because you always ate nerds, says Matthew.
Honestly, I only started eating nerds when I became a nerd, and then I
As
had
in
to
the swoop,
start.
not eating nerdy people.
Could be both. Could be both.
Oh, oh, you cannibal?
Yeah.
Welcome, Logan Slater. Welcome, Sarah Chapman.
Sarah Chapman's it.
Yeah, friend of yours.
She's the opticianist.
Well, not. Well, how do you balance wrestling with other aspects of life? Would you say?
Very easily. Very easily. Um, Wrestling has just become my life. Uh, there's no other way about it. Um, yeah, like the people that I talk to all the time, like my mates, are in the same company office, so I'm always talking to them, and I'm always watching wrestling, so I always get ideas of what I would like to do and potential creative ideas and whatnot.
You could say that all the eyes are on you tonight, says Matthew.
It's a joke, isn't
Now, I noticed we have brought up a lot of your support, and I know this was one requested by you. At first, I want to say my deepest apologies for you losing your dad. And
Mm.
it seems like you've had some great support throughout that, which you mentioned Dagon, DJB. I would assume Matthew right here knows you pretty well as well. Like,
Uh,
you want to tell us how much they've helped you through this hard time, and also Hybrid, of course, I would imagine as
yeah.
well.
So, obviously, when I started the wrestling, my dad was like me essentially me non-given manager. Like, he would always be by my side, and he was very chatty, my dad, and he was very talkative. He could make friends with a lamppost if he wanted to. Um, and going into wrestling, he had a lot of health issues, and it was made well aware to people in the training schools or in the company. And we had a scare within the first year of his wrestling with my dad, and I reached out to Diego for help. And there was a stint just after I made my debut where my dad was in hospital for like half the year because he was supposed to be in for a week and it was a botched surgery. And Diego made sure I had everything. There was a night where we had to sign DNR papers and I was alone in the house and Diego came to pick us up, him, his missus, and the kids came to pick us up, make sure I was eating, make sure I wasn't alone. He's we joke about it, but he has genuinely kind of took us on as his own. And like, no one's going to replace me dad, but I'm grateful to have that father figure in Dagon to be able to, like, tell us when I'm being stupid, tell us when I'm wrong, and stuff like that. I'm genuinely grateful for Dagon, and like not even just Dagon, like the overall support that everyone in the wrestling gave when my dad passed away, and uh, it was an incredible feeling.
He said, "You're one of us, lad," says Dagon. And Matthew said, Del Boy was a true gentleman, always a huge supporter of his son. Even if he was booing the heel version of him, he was Alfie's biggest fan. And he goes by Del Boy. Was that something that you guys can put together or something he just came up with on the
Oh,
spot?
so his father called him a Del Boy when he was a kid, and I can't remember the reason. But growing up, obviously every dad gives the son a nickname, and mine was always AJ or Buster. And I asked my dad like what was his nickname, and said Del Boy when I was a kid. And ever since then, I called him Del Boy most of my life. Like obviously, I called him Dad, but whenever I wanted to talk to him, I would always say ring in Del Boy or something. And it was just his nickname that we all called him. I've got him tattooed on my arm. Oh, you can't say it. I've got Del Boy tattooed on my arm, and this is a replica of the tattoo my dad had.
Okay.
But Del Boy came from Grandad, and it's just stuck, and it gives us comfort knowing that I have a name from.
And he's always watching over you and is with you every step of the way.
Yeah,
You've got a great support with you, and I'm happy you have a family that has supported you through that tough time. And I just want to say again, prayers and love and thoughts to you. And if you ever need anything, I've always tried to make it my mission to be like, I'm always here for my people and I'm here for you guys.
yeah.
How do you told me you didn't really have much injuries and like you've never really had injuries unless they were storyline related, but how do you handle setbacks?
Um, I don't really know. Again, um, I do struggle a lot. So it is hard, but with enough motivation from people, like they keep me arse into gear, it helps. Especially like the self doubting and stuff like that. It's good to have someone in your ear to like tell you you're on the right path and give you motivation.
Well said. What's the biggest misconception about you and your career?
Oh, biggest misconception. Um, that's a great question, and I don't even know. I couldn't. I genuinely don't think I can answer that because I have no clue.
Okay. Okay. What about favorite parts about being a pro wrestler?
Oh, being able to like essentially recreate your favorite moments from watching it. We not recreate, but like that feeling of the slams and stuff like that. It's a different type of a high you get. It's like no over, and when you walk out the curtain, oh, Dave knows a misconception. Put it in the comments so I can answer it.
You made yourself. No one could stake claim to that. Wow.
Great, he's got a point. No one can claim to have made me.
Well, right there. That's a big one, I would say. Anything else about being a pro wrestler you love?
Um, the friendships and the people you meet, like it's unbelievable how many people I've met in the last 18 months, and it's like really like made an impact. It's like the small impacts are big impacts. Like it's again, it's one of the best feelings in the world. It's one of the greatest things about the wrestling is the people you meet and the stories you hear.
Yeah. Indeed. What's your what's some favorite venues that you've competed in?
Favorite venues, Grindon, where we had January show. Grindon, that's a great venue. One of my personal favourites. Um, ooh, Easant Welfare Club. I've always liked that one. Uh, and I like I like when we do the gala shows. Like I like the I don't know if you have them in, I don't know what you call them in America, but I like when we go like I don't know how you would describe it in American. So you have like a fun fair or
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah. Fair.
I love doing them types of shows
Okay.
because it's not as big as a roster as a normal show, and you don't have pure wrestling fans there. You know what I mean? Like they're just people that are watching you are just interested in what's going on. So it's a different type of storytelling and like the whole atmosphere and the vibe. It's I think that is my favorite type of venue, even though it's technically not a venue.
Wait, it still counts. And you're talking about like performing outside in front of a crowd.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And stories you get live from the shows. Like hypothetically, someone might miss a spot because they were too busy stroking a dog that they didn't realize was a blind dog.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's
Never heard. Okay. Dagon said you are you because of you, and a misconception from Matthew is you look like Millhouse but is tough as Fat Tony.
I, I'm a tough cookie. That's why I don't look like Millhouse anymore. I look more like Roger the Alien, but still.
Hybrid, your tag partner said, I got kicked in the face because Alfie was too busy stroking a guide dog.
Ah, that might
Um,
that might that might be true. Yeah, potentially. Rumor has it. Yeah.
potentially. Potentially. Most fans are not wrestling fans, but they're entertainment fans. They want to have fun and engaging characters and storylines. Wrestling is almost a byproduct, says Matthew.
Yeah, great way to put it. Perfect way to put it. In fact.
You were talking about how it's different storytelling in front of like a crowd at a fair venue compared to like a regular venue. Can you maybe elaborate on that?
All right, so at, at normal show that we do monthly, like these monthly shows that we do, they will
Yes.
know about our online product. They will know our company, and they will know the wrestlers. Whereas these fair shows, they they only see what they see. They only know what they see. So they wouldn't know I'm Alfie Jaxyn unless they look at me gear or like they'll
Okay.
only remember your stuff by your gear. Whereas you know your monthly fans, you build a bond with them, and they know what to expect from you. Like they know your moves, what you like in the ring. Whereas these fair shows it's a different crowd every time you do it. You know, um, different obstacles. So it could be like I don't know, the ground's too wet to have the ring, so you need to figure out how to sort that out. It's the music and stuff like that. Everything is completely different at them shows, and that's what I really like about it.
Okay. Hey, my mom's here. Hi, mom.
Hi, Brandon's mom.
How do you prepare for any type of match or just a show in general? Do you have like a ritual you do? Do you have like a workout you do? Do you eat something? Like, can you walk us through that?
So normally on show days, I stop drinking Monster the day before to lower my nerves. Um, um, I get ridiculously nervous on the day of shows. Uh, I, Unbelievable, in fact. So I just try to like keep myself calm, keep myself cool. I don't really have a ritual, I suppose. Um, no, I don't really have a ritual or anything like that. I just do my best, I guess.
Do you mind repeating that? You kind of cut out.
Oh, sorry. I don't really have a ritual. I get really nervous on show days, so I just try and keep myself cool, keep myself cold, stuff like that. Um, I try not to get too hot because when I get hot, it's when I start to get a bit more nervous when I'm warm. So the colder I am, the more collected I am.
Interesting. Interesting way of looking at that. John Paul Jenkins, welcome. Welcome. Um, how do you engage with fans? Is there a memorable fan reactions you could tell us about, whether you were face or heel, or how do you engage with them in general?
So most of my career, wait, in fact, all of my career, I've been heel. It's only been since last show that I've been a good guy. Um, there was a fan interaction when I first started, and I wasn't doing my gimmick. I was in a masked gimmick, and we attacked Dagon, and we left through the crowd. But as we were leaving through the crowd, two kids started to hit us, and one of them got us in my nuts, and I was really angry, but at the same time, it was hilarious. So looking back, that's probably my favorite interaction in a weird way.
Something to tell the grandkids in the future.
Yeah, I got beat up by a 7-year-old.
Hey man, them 7-year olds are vicious. Who would you say you said you spoke about your father being an influence on you. Is there other inspirations that also influenced you?
In terms of, like wrestling, like wrestlers.
Like wrestling terms to or it could be somebody that inspired you to go do it that was maybe not in wrestling, but you said your father was one. Who else would be others?
I mean, I'm inspired by like wrestlers like Shinsuke Nakamura and stuff like that. From if you look at me ring work, like a lot of it is striking and stuff like that. I get that from Shinsuke. But in terms of like people influencing us to carry on, Persona and Dagon, again, I felt like leaving last year, or was it year before? I felt like walking away, and they kept us on the right path. Like they were the ones that were like, you need to do this. Like they kept us going. So I guess I'd say them, yeah.
and you also talked about Sting, Samoa Joe, and I believe you
Oh,
face painted your face a couple times, if I recall. Was that because of Sting?
no, so I think I've only done it once so far, and it was for a Survivor
Okay.
Series type match.
Okay.
And everyone on the team that was on it was me, a guy that won't be named, Dagon, Nate Sawyer, I believe, and me. And everyone wore face paint or a mask. Like, everyone wore face paint. Obviously, Nate Sawyer's got a mask. And I didn't have anything. And I said to Dagon, I was like, I want to wear face paint so it looks like we're a team. And I wore like this. It was camouflage, but it was red and black, so it looked more a bit like Kane, kind of.
Okay.
So it's the only time I've worn face paint. But yeah,
Okay. Welcome, Imperial Referee, Brian Chaplow. Welcome, sir.
Big Brian.
Now, memorable moments in your career, whether it be a memorable match or like moments, you talked about that fan interaction. What are some memorable moments for you so far?
Um, Miners Mania 2, was it 2 or 3? One of the Miners Manias, the one in tribute to my dad, that was obviously a huge moment. Um, the beginning of IWF, I guess, the walkout, that was obviously a massive moment, probably the biggest in my career. And Welfare Warzone and CCW, I was part of a fatal five way, me, Jamdog, Logan Black, or whatever his second name was, A Dog and Rico. That's been, I think that map, I think that match made people look at us in a different light. Up until that point, I was seen as just a nerd and a bit of a weak, but that match made people like look at us in a second light. So I'd say that, and winning the tag belts with Hybrid, like again, IWS first show, possibly the biggest show I had been a part of until that point. Um, like everything that we worked hard for the months building up to that, and whether that be the wrestlers, Zoe Madre, everyone that is included with IWF, and the fans constantly supporting us throughout everything that was going on. I'd definitely say that show. Yeah, IWF Grand Slam.
Yes, it was.
The
Was a massive.
emotions, the emotions were high. The vibes were immaculate. Like greatest atmosphere you've ever been around. And overall, it was so beautiful how it all came together in the end. Because when we walked, we had like this month period where we were all just thinking, and then when the cog started to turn, it went over in seconds. And yeah, 234 people in attendance on that night. That room was boiling and it was so loud. It was amazing.
That's wonderful. I'm glad for your guys' next show coming up as well, and all the shows you guys have had. And we will be going over this upcoming show, which you are a part of when we do get to it. And how do you handle this one? Maybe if you want to answer this one or not, I'm just kind of curious. How do you handle conflicts with other wrestlers or promoters?
Normally, I really don't care. Um, I never,
Okay,
I never, I never take people seriously enough, like at all.
okay.
Um, it could be a flaw, it could be a pro. I really don't know. Depends how you look at it. But I've never took anyone or anything seriously. It gets annoying, it really does. But again, you want to try and stay away from that. The fans don't want to see it online and speak freely. Well, you know what? You're right.
This is your platform to
I never
do it.
take.
Don't be afraid. I
I,
want you to express yourself. I want you to express yourself. So don't be afraid.
I never take people seriously. There's been a few times where I have gotten really pissed off, and you know, but most of the time I laugh at them because, like, if the conflicts I mean, there's never been a great reason for a conflict. Like, there's never been a valid point for a conflict. It's never been bitterness or jealousy. And honestly, it comes to a point when, like, I'm not a kid anymore. Like, I'm 22 this year, 22 next month, and like obviously me and Spawn again. We've grown up in this business together. He's still a kid essentially, and it comes to a point where we're sitting back and we're watching like these 30, 40-year-old men, and we're just thinking like, what, they're childish. That's kind of like a reality check, I believe, and that's all I'm going to say on the matter. Like,
Okay.
I try to stay away from it. I don't comment because I have no filter, and honestly, I don't think people need it in their lives. You know, there's no need for this negativity and that. But it's we're not in school anymore. It's not a playground. It's bitterness and jealousy.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you. What's your favorite way to unwind after any type of show? Like when you're wrestling, like you just came off a match, what are you going to do after? How do you unwind?
I go outside and I vape until my lungs are crispy, and I just take a nice deep breath. I drink I drink the first thing I can get my hands on, and I just relax. And you know when you walk through the curtains, I always, when I walk through the curtains, I immediately look to Dagon and Persona to kind of like, not even for their approval, but I guess for their, I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah.
JDK, so me and the referee, Brian Chaplow and Walker of Wall Street, when we have shows at the Cheers Bar, we'll walk up to the bus station, but we'll always make sure to stop for a GDK, which is a German doner kebab, and
Oh,
it is the greatest gift on earth, because we'll walk up there, which is about a 15-minute walk in the air, in the nice cold fresh air. You know, you're hurting because you've been chopped and I bruised like a peach, so I'm showing me war wounds. I don't use pyro. I walk through clouds of beer.
I can see that. I can
But
see it.
you know, I'm showing off my war wounds. I get the JDK, and then we sit in a bus station and we just laugh about the show and eat the JDK. It's honestly amazing. That is, when you're talking about rituals, that happens. That's got to happen for it to be a good show.
With the same people that you stated, or is it something that's like a mix of difference?
But no, it's mostly the same people because we
Okay.
live in the same town, so we get the same bus.
Okay. Thank you for that. And Matthew stated on your point earlier when you were talking about when it came to how you handle conflicts, wrestling has some of the most pretty childish people trapped in 40-year-old bodies. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah. But like that's wrestling for you. It's been like that before I was here. It's going to be like that long after I'm gone. Unfortunately, wrestling. It's all a huge part of wrestling is having egos, and eventually egos will clash. And you know, for the better or worse, people argue, people fight. There's it just happens. It's a natural thing in life.
Understood. Understood. Yeah, the business can be rough and tough, and especially back in the day, people were allowed to get away with things and go against a script, per se, as we would say.
Yeah.
And Matthew stated, petty, not pretty. Most look like a bulldog licking piss off a nettle. A nettle?
I don't
Oh,
know what you call it in America. It's like this leaf that stings. You will have
a
an
sting,
American man. It's a stinging leaf, whatever you call it.
a stinging leaf. A stinging leaf. I've never heard this. Um,
I'm telling you, it's a thing in America. I've
okay,
seen Americans cook them.
stinging leaf. That just
Stinging
I don't know
it.
unless
Never heard of a nettle?
I can't say that I have. No, and I don't want to bullcrap you and say that I have. I
A, li-
really
a
haven't.
a little green plant that stings. You know, you touch it, you get a few
Even my
spots.
mom doesn't even know what a nettle is.
Uh,
I I don't know. I must be really tripping. I don't know. I'll have to look this up.
oh well.
I'll get back to you after this interview, and I'll tell you what I look up with that because I've never heard this. Well, what's the most important thing you've learned about yourself through wrestling?
That I shouldn't doubt myself as much as I shouldn't compare myself to others will say.
And you've had those moments
Yeah,
quite a
100%.
bit, and you've overcame them.
Yeah, to be fair, I think it's a common thing with wrestlers that we will try and compare ourselves to people. But again, that's natural. For the better or worse, it happens.
Understood. What is your take on the current state of pro wrestling?
Uh, I think it's the best it's been in years. You've got so many companies starting. You've got wrestling content, new wrestling content every day. If you look hard enough, there's there's all these promotions to watch. There's all these new people starting, all these young people performing unbelievable skills and stunts and whatnot. It is genuinely the greatest it's been, I believe.
Okay. Welcome, Zoe Spencer. Welcome, Peter Law. What's been some of your favorite promos that you have done?
Mine and Hybrid's performing when we first became a team, and he sang for us. That was really funny. Um, a lot of it's going to be me and Hybrid. Me and Hybrid go on holiday. That's an hilarious promo. The promo that just went out yesterday with me, Hybrid, and Spawn singing "Hero." That was great.
That's the karaoke you were telling me about.
Yes, the karaoke. The strange when Dagon was strange. Some of his promos were hilarious. Um, and I'm going to put a serious one in there, but the one I did against Rory just before. So me and Hybrid did a promo together, a trainer montage, which for the comedy, and then I put a serious one by myself. That's probably up there.
Okay. Okay. How do you think wrestling has changed since you've started?
Oh, I get more promotions, I guess. Like I don't think it has changed that much. Um, and if it has, I just haven't paid attention to it or haven't noticed. But yeah, you've got a lot more local promotions. Actually, I will say that because they probably existed before, but since I became involved in wrestling, I've noticed there's a ton of local promotions.
Indeed, the wrestling business continues to grow, and Dagon said the one against Rory was your golden promo.
Yep,
Wow.
my favorite promo of all time is that.
Hell yeah.
I had a
Wonderful
lot
to
of
hear.
fun, and there wasn't any gimmicks or anything. That was from my heart, and that was real and raw.
Well said. Welcome, Kirsty Renison. I shall be interviewing Chris Cannon singly this Wednesday. Stay tuned for that. And also, you've worked in a few different promotions. If I go down the list here by one as we talk about them, what has been your experience like for Firestar Championship Wrestling that you told me you've been at?
So I've worked 5 star once. It was the last minute replacement, and I was hesitant on it purely because of the travel. But honestly, that was probably my favourite match from last year. It was against Dagon in a body bag match. Um, that's the whole feeling there was amazing. The guy that might have had a tear in his eye. Wimp. But I 5 star. was banging. I've known Rob Bagwell since I started in the company, since I've started wrestling. Um, you know, it was great meeting new people, seeing old faces. Uh, you know, getting a face dig on. Never a bad night when you get a face dig on, unless he chops you.
And
Um,
and it was supposed to be a body bag match, right?
yeah, it was a body bag match, and I didn't get told the stipulation until we were about 5 minutes away from the venue. And then that's when like I had to tell Diego, like, oh, I hate small spaces. So by the end of the night, I'm locked in this body bag, and it was awful for me.
Do you have any plans to go back there in the future? Welcome Nathan
Hopefully,
Maskell, and Kirsty says hi, Alfie.
hello, Kirsty. Hello, Nathan. Hopefully, yeah. I knew Rob. I know Rob was impressed by us. I would love to go back down there happily. You know, there's a tons of places I would love to work in the future, but Firestar's definitely on there.
What's your experience been like in Alba Championship Wrestling?
Uh, I've went up Alba twice, both times been great. Me and Jam Dog got very close. Like I taught him most nights. I like Scottish crowd are a bit more rowdy than the UK crowd. Wait, I'd say England crowds because they are the UK. But they're a bit
Yeah.
more rowdy. But I think what makes them shows worth the while is the car journeys up there and the stories that you get from that car journey. First time I went up there, it was with Taylor, DJB, Kaz, which is DJB's partner. Again, that was my first time truly travelling. It was the first time leaving the Northeast in years, and they made sure I was all right with me anxiety and stuff like that. And then second time I went up with Hybrid, Simon J Money, Alan Shaw, and Ethan Dixon. And again, that car journey was fun, like the stories that happens and whatnot. That makes them trips feel worth it. You could have a bad match, but the trip will make up for it.
Do you think you would ever join Alba After Dark for one of their matches, or maybe join up with the roster someday? Alba After Dark.
That's at the minute, no. At the minute,
Okay.
no. But never say never. And I'd like maybe if the time was right and if the idea was right, which I have no doubt, like the idea would be bad or anything. If the time was right, however, what you've got to think about, and that's what I've said from the start, um, it's different compared to having if I had a match like what they do at Albert After Dark with IWF, I've only got a 20-minute car ride home where I've got to suffer in the car with pieces of glass or whatever in me back. It's going to be different traveling 3.5 hours from Scotland and being in pain that entire time coming back. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's the journey home that makes that difference.
Understood. And you spoke about your time with Jam Dog, and if I recall, you were the CCW Carnage champion at the time, and you guys were in a fatal four-way, but it was really you and him what it seemed like that were going at it the most. Like, do you
Uh,
think that was kind of like the most hardest match you've been in?
I wasn't champion at the time. This was a few
Okay.
months before that. But that
Okay.
match, that was the Fatal 5 I was telling you about earlier.
Okay.
That match, I wouldn't say it's the toughest match I've had because I've since that match had happened, I've had a string of hardcore matches. But that was the first match that made me have more belief in myself. You know, that made me open a kind of new chapter of me character. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it made us realize I could do stuff, and I was willing to take stuff that I wouldn't normally take, that I wouldn't expect myself to take either. Um, since then, I've had multiple hardcore matches with Jam. Uh, you know, I've we that fatal 4-way, 5-way even, it left him with a gash, and I've got photos from us after the match where I'm just soaked in blood back off where I've landed on tacks, and my face off where I've been chopped. And when I get chopped, I bruise so badly. Like
Yeah.
Spawn loves it because I bruise like a peach and I wrestle topless, and it never helps. So like, what might be like a normal chop for someone else, I'll take it, and you'll be able to see it for like a week straight. But I've had multiple matches with Jam. One of the matches, he had a bacon tray and he had some axe glued to it that spelled fuck. And he whacked us on the back, and I had fuck scarred on my back in little dots. Um, the, my favourite person shot Alfie. If I'm being honest, my reign as the Carnage champion didn't feel like much. I was honoured to hold the belt.
Okay.
The lineage just had, and obviously who the belt was for. But I don't think the best bullshit. That's all I'm going to say, because I don't want 1,000 messages afterwards, and I don't want any grief. But I loved the way I won it. You know, Night Memory was sure. I loved there's a photo of us hugging me mum after with tears in my eyes and everything. I loved how it was a last minute replacement and someone stepped up because my opponent couldn't make it, and I loved the responsibility I have to have, in my eyes, which it was the main title of another brand, Carnage brand on us. I felt like I was a big deal at the time, and it was it was a huge honor. I'll never forget it. But sometimes you can have something and you can honor it and you feel really good about it, but at the same time you can feel really bad.
Yeah. I hear you. And I think everybody else understands. Yeah. And you've done some work for Dropkick.
Yes. Um, did Wait, it's mostly the galas. I don't think I've ever actually been on a Dropkick show. I was on a pre-show just before IWF officially had their first show. It was me, Hybrid, and Nate versus Persona, Walker, and Sulfrina. Great match. Finally got to show people what IWF was about. Obviously, we won because you know the detriment. But yeah, I've worked the galas again. Loved them. I have a ton of respect for Colin, Jamie Simon. Love them to bits. Colin's wisest man I know. It's the reason why people call him the wise man. And wise words with Colin Barker, not McGregor. Make sure of that. Yeah, look, Dropkick has been great. It's one of them things that you're glad to be a part of again.
Heck yeah. I would love to see you back in Dropkick. And they work very closely with the IWF, which is the next place. You say that you loved that you won the tag titles with Hybrid. You loved Grand Slam. The time there, you've also faced teams like Thunder Flash. You faced Sofrina and Adrenaline Kid. Like, good times in IWF. And I would imagine this is where you want to finish out your career.
Oh, 1,000%. To me, IWF is the home of my wrestling career. This isn't shit to anyone else, but I believe my true wrestling career started in IWF because this is the happiest I've been in wrestling. This has gave us the most opportunities compared to anything else in wrestling. I've made more memories in the time that I've had with IWF, you know, and I'm sure every company will say that they're like a family, but with IWF it is different because we are a family in a sense. Um, you know, we've grown up together, some of us, and the friendships that we have are like friendships for life. It's a different kind of atmosphere, than people will expect. It's just you're never alone in IWF. That's one thing. No matter who you are or whatever it is, and no matter what time of the day it is, you've always got someone to talk to and like bond with. It's unbelievable.
Well said, well said. And out of all the promoters that you've worked with, whether it be IWF, DCW, ACW, so on and so forth, what are some important things you have learned from them?
Obviously we spoke about the doubt. I've learned to not doubt myself. You learn some more stuff about your wrestling character, speaking to other people. You get their advice. I think that's a massive bonus at being able to work so many promotions. You get to have so many options of people with years ahead of you, like decades of experience, handed to you. Like you can just go ask anyone in that locker room, and you get advice. That's probably the greatest thing. Yeah.
Okay. Now, this one may be if you can go back in history of us, if you had to pick top 7 of your favorite matches.
Top 7. Seven's a weird number.
I know I'm weird.
Seven's really weird. Can you not even do 5 or 10? Like
Okay,
seven's
we could do 5. We could do 5.
we'll do 5. Seven's get weird as. Nah, I won't swear for it. At 5, I'm gonna have Wrestling with Pride, one of their first shows that they did. Me versus Hybrid versus Spawn.
Ooh.
I think it was Caulfield's Pride event. Triple threat, flag on a pole, if I remember correctly. That was a great match. This is cheating, but everyone knows about this. One of my favourite matches I've ever had was a practice match, and it was me versus Spawn versus Persona. And honestly, that match was amazing. Like the trainees got robbed. The fact that they got to see that for free, and we didn't show the fans it. Unbelievable.
Like they should have paid.
Exactly. We should be charging £10 a training session for that. 3. This is going to be in no particular order, actually. Me and Hybrid winning a tag belts purely because of what it meant. The Fatal 5-way match at Welfare Warzone. That sticks with us no matter what. And honourable mention, any match I've had with Dagon, except from one. The first match we've had together wasn't that great, so that's not going in. But every other match beside that, banging. And then I'd say number 1. I'm going to need someone to fact check this. Whoever's watching, I don't know who is, but me and Spawn had a match just after Christmas one year. It was like 2 days after Christmas. It was at Mercy's fight, or some Mercy's Foundation. We had a match, and I think that was the first time we faced each other. I'd definitely say that match was one of the best I've had, it at least. Might not have been a great match for other people, for outside wrestlers looking in, but and looking back, if I watched it now, know what I know now, it probably would have been not as good as match, but yeah, that match, just purely because of all the months I was asking to face Spawn and all the times that we would wind up each other, and when we finally got to have that match, it just felt like I achieved a goal.
And it was Mercy's mighty fight, says Dagon.
Yes, yes. You're right, he faced Flashback in a 30-minute Iron Man match.
I like the gala match we had, says Spawn.
Bertley, yes. Bertley, last year, when I almost killed myself doing a Whisper in the Wind, that was a great match.
Wait, you almost what? You almost what?
I didn't rotate enough, and he had catches. and it looked more like he suplexes than a whisper in the wind.
Ooh.
Definitely, yeah, that. And also, once that match was done, I think we went like 10 or 15 minutes. I was number one in a battle royale, so I'd definitely say that match, yeah, 1,000%.
Okay. And Matthew stated on your what you said earlier about car rides. Car journeys often end up being the best part of a show day, and that's not a detriment, no pun intended, to the shows. That's just how good the journeys are.
No, he's right. No, he's definitely right. So when I went to Five Star, it was me, Dagon, Zoe, Dagon's partner, Lilith, and Spawn. And honestly, it was like I was in the back of my actual family's car. Like we had Lily in the middle that we were winding up. You had Dagon blasting some music. Spawny was falling asleep or whatever he was doing, and I was sat watching NXT on my phone. It was incredible. It was a family journey, perfect. Yeah,
I love those moments. Family history.
yeah, exactly.
Now, for you, if you were to give advice to somebody just starting in wrestling, what would you say?
Don't take stuff to heart. Um, I don't like. I feel like I shouldn't be answering this question because I'm not a veteran. But if you can't take criticism, you don't belong in wrestling. Um, our coach Persona, he is one of the greatest wrestlers I know in the area, if not the UK, for especially for his age and the way he delivers criticism and how he helps people train. Looking outside, it might be a bit harsh, but when you're receiving that advice, and he won't tell you you're wrong, where he will. He'll tell you you're wrong, but then he will say, "But this is how you can help." So you might mess up a move, and he'll be like, "Right, you've messed up that move, but don't worry because this is how you prevent messing up in the future." And although he's harsh, he does care. I don't care if he comes online and acts this big hard man. He does care for each one of his trainees.
You're proud to
And
be
like Dave,
training under him.
yeah, 100%. And like Dave said, be coachable. That's what I mean by it.
Well said. Welcome, Lisa Brown. Welcome. And before I do get to my last two questions, do you mind if we go over the upcoming show for Regal Rampage?
Actually, you know what? I would love that because it means I can make notes for tomorrow's show.
Okay,
So
heck yeah.
let's go over it.
And guess what? I have you listed in the first matchup because I don't know the exact order, so I just went by an order that I can see in my head. And Persona's Druids are taking on Spawn, the Lilac Demon, you, and Hybrid, the Detriment. And what I would assume is a six-man regular tag match. What do you have to
That's
say about
right.
this one?
Obviously, Lilac Legion coming back for one night only. Um, if you've seen the video, we've got our custom tops ready. We're ready for the war, and the Druids are they're going to finally get sent down forever. But it's going to be a good match, obviously. Um, First time me and Spawn teaming, so big again. Another thing taken off my list. Um, I'm really looking forward to this. This could be my favourite match of my career. My advice
Okay.
would be
My advice would be just because someone has years of service doesn't mean they have a right to treat new people like rubbish. Call out that negative behavior and steer away from it, says Matthew. And Hybrid said, clever, Alfie.
to make a notes position live tomorrow.
Yes, tune in for the sentiment with the detriment tomorrow, everybody. And Dagon stated Persona made us all the standout we are today.
100%. None of us can say we would be where we are without Persona. None of us. When it's all said and done, and when the smoke settles, Persona is the one that, if there was anyone that will put a claim on, we made you, it would be Persona.
Anywhere you go, you're like, Persona, help me.
Yeah,
Basically.
100%. You've got to give credit where credit's due.
Yes. Love that. Always got to do that.
I've still got pain money on.
Rory Shaw versus the Polish party prince, Jakub.
Good luck, Jakob. Obviously, I faced Rory last show. I got manhandled. The strength that he has is ridiculous. It's not human at all. I described him to my mother as the Scottish Brock Lesnar.
Oh,
It's scary how fast he is and how aggressive he is. However, Jakob beat Persona in January. Yeah, in January he beat Persona. So could he continue this momentum? I know he lost in a triple threat, but he's incredibly quick, and for his age, he's only learning. He's only grown. So could Jakob have it in the bag?
okay. Well said. And you've dealt with Jakub one-on-one before, yes? Or have you not had a chance to face him?
The Detriment faced Strange, right? That's the only encounter I've had with him, except from Rumbles and whatnot. I've never had a one-on-one with him yet. But yeah, Jakob, he, for his age especially, insanely talented, insanely athletic, and the way he can fly is unbelievable.
You've also been known to fly yourself.
I really haven't.
you gonna retry that Whisper in the Wind?
Maybe. I wouldn't say I'm known for flying, no.
Sofrina versus Lottie.
Yes, that's just been announced. Silfrena, one of the young up-and-comers in IWF. Lottie, UWA standout, I believe. I will be honest though, I don't know that much about Lottie. I've seen bits and bobs here and there, but obviously, if she's getting booked in an IWF show, she must be great. She must have impressed the right people, and them two is the case of two young people showing everyone why they're here to make a name for themselves.
Okay, well said. If you had to say who you think was going to win, who would you say?
Purely because I've been in the ring with them, Sulfrena.
Okay.
She's more than just this weak little girl. She's tougher than what people make out to be. So I put my money on Sulfrena. And again, I don't know Lottie that much. I don't want to unfairly discredit her, but it could go either way. But my money's on Sulfrena.
IWF Regal Duos Championship, which you are no stranger to holding, as it will be Nate Sawyer and Sweeney versus Thunder Flash, Johnny Thunder, and Johnny Flashback, the champions.
Oh, Nate and Sweeney, they've not teamed up that many times. Thunder Flash have been teaming up for, I think this will be the second year teaming, if not third. So they, again, the chemistry that they'll have is better than each other. However, Nate and Sweeney, two absolute psychos. It could go either way, Will the chemistry outdo the madness? Will the madness outdo the chemistry? We don't know. You'll have to tune in to watch.
Who do you think is going to win?
Well, if they're good enough to beat the Detriment, they're good enough to beat most people, so I'm going to say Thunder Flash.
Well said. IWF Sovereign Shield Championship, the King of the Skies, Alan Shaw, versus the champion, Danny Kaye.
See, everyone knows that me and Hybrid are massive fans of Danny Kaye. We think he's great, and although we might not agree now with what some of the tactics he uses, we do understand why. Sometimes you've got to cheat to win. However, Alan Shaw has been facing, whether it's Danny Kaye or Spawn for the Sovereign Shield Championship, for so long that if he doesn't win it this time, when at what point do you call it quits? You know what I mean? He's been on this chase for so long, he must be getting tired.
You think this is his time?
100%.
Okay. And we are going to be crowning officially the IWF Women's Liberty Championship between Kirsty Love and Penelope Crace.
Yes. So
what do you have to say about that match?
Both the lasses travelled up and down the UK. Penelope Grace up in Scotland. She's done death matches and whatnot. Kirsty Love, toughest woman I know. Genuinely intimidates us when I talk to her. This is going to be. I don't want to discredit anyone at all, but this is going to put the women's division of IWF on people's maps and people's to watch list.
This is history making, literally.
Literally, yeah, literally is.
Now, when I ask this, I know you're not going to discredit any lady, but if you had to say who you think was going to walk out the first ever Women's Liberty Champion, will it be Kirsty or Penelope?
I'd say Kirsty because of her experience.
Okay. You feel like experience will outmatch the student in a sense, even though I don't think
in a sense, yeah.
Yeah, understood. And the final match that I have listed so far, unless there is any more added, I believe this is just a standard match unless it's for the title, Asylum versus Dagon.
I believe it's for the title. Dagon's in the comments. Okay. Correct us, but I believe it is for the title.
Okay.
Asylum, massive, biggest lad in the backstage. Yeah. Absolute unit. And now that he's got that not Baldwin, haha. Now that he's got that Matty with him, more dangerous, I guess. But I've faced Dagon so many times. I know how dangerous he is, no matter what the size. I've witnessed him overcome some massive challenges. So my money is on Dagon because he's just won that belt. There's no way he's going to be losing it at all. Nothing's going to stop him.
And this was because Asylum said that he was gunning for Dagon, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, he did.
Yes. But Colin, I don't know if you saw the promo. Colin asked somebody for a favor after Persona was put into a coffin, and it looked like somebody was trying to get him from hell. Do you have any idea of who Colin was talking to?
I really don't. And like I said in the video we put out, Colin, for someone who's called a genius, you just aren't that smart. Like, Persona's gone, you need to accept it. I know it's sad. I really do. I get it. But as a farmer, you know that sometimes goats need to be put down. So, fortunately, he's gone. He's dead and buried. Accept it, move on. Find someone else's fame and success to clinch onto.
Monsters can't be caged in anyone. Colin has in his back pocket needs to stay clear of the Empire.
No, there's no one in that backstage that defends the Empire more than Dagon.
That is. Well, I am not going to put it past, who knows what will happen, because you already talked about Asylum. We have not talked about Big Mick, but he's also a big one. Makes me wonder if it's like another monster we would least expect that Colin was talking to.
Well, there's no comparisons between Asylum and Big Mick. Asylum's way bigger than Big Mick.
That's
but again, I'm not discrediting Big Mick. I've met him. Big lad, scary lad, but Asylum's just a different level.
Well said. Well said. Thank you for going through that with me, Alfie. And do you mind giving us the date for Regal Rampage?
21st of March at Cheers Bar in Sunderland.
Heck yeah, go tune in, everybody. Now, if you had to give me 5 dream matches you have always wanted, whether it be tag or singles or multi-man, what would be your top 5 dream matches you've never had?
Number one, I'm going to put me versus Persona in a singles. We've never encountered each other as a singles.
Okay.
Number two, Johnny Thunder. I get on really well with him, and we've always spoke about it for months that we've wanted to face each other. I know it's already happened in the past, but I'd like to face Walker again when he comes back.
Ooh. Oh, yeah.
I'd like to face him one more time. How many is that? That's 3.
Yes.
Me and Hybrid, Battle of the Detriment.
Okay.
You know, I'd love to get on with my best friend.
They are best friends.
Last one. I'm going to say Danny Kaye.
Okay.
No. Me versus you and G Mackie.
Oh.
It was supposed to happen, but it never did. Me versus you and G Mackie.
I would love to see all those, and I feel everybody watching would love to see all those.
We had that encounter when we took on the Z list, the Detriment versus Z list back in whenever Halloween was, October.
Okay.
But yeah, me versus Ewan, probably up there, same level of me versus Persona in dream matches.
And Ebon has a new faction with him too, so who knows? It could turn into a tag match at some point where he picks one of his partners to face you in Hybrid.
If he does that, I'll be fuming because I want to face him solo.
Well said. Well said. I would love to see that. All those matches you named off, I would love to see one-on-one for you. You have a big career ahead still, so you're going on your next year soon, and good luck to you, good sir.
I appreciate it.
And I come down to my final question, something I ask everybody that I've interviewed on the Breaking Keyfabe. What do you want your legacy to be?
What about Mark Kirby? Ethan, I'm going to be honest with you. I know who he is, and obviously, he's a huge deal. However, compared to the people that I've named, it doesn't interest us. My legacy, though, I want to go down as the person that entered that ring leaving it all. I know it's such a cliche answer. It is such a typical wrestling answer. But I'd I'd want everyone in the crowd to know that when I leave that ring, if I'm battered or bruised, I've given me all, and I've fought till the very last breath. You know, we had a saying from my dad that everyone fights their last battle. That's going to be me. You know, we fight until we physically can't fight any longer.
Well said. Well said. Thank you for that, Alfie, and thank you again for giving me the time to even interview you. And that was my last question. Do you want to have final thoughts before we get off here?
I mean, I've just seen Ethan ask a question, so I'm going to answer that. How's it been going in wrestling recently? Ethan, rewatch the live when it's over because I don't want to repeat myself much. No, wrestling's going good. No, it's sound. Might have something in the works, might not. You'll have to keep watch of IWF. Final thoughts. March 21st, Cheers Bar Sunderland.
Yeah.
You said the show name earlier, and I haven't wrote it down. I forgot. It's not King's Rebellion.
It's a Regal Rampage that's coming up.
Writing that down so I don't forget. Regal Rampage, 21st of March in Cheers Bar Sunderland. And most importantly, tomorrow, this time tomorrow, UK time. I don't know what time it is if we have any American fans. This
Yeah,
is where,
me.
yeah, this is where I need your help. What time is it in America?
Well, right now it is 1:33.
1:33 in America. Sentiment was a detriment. We may have a few guests. We might not. There's only one way to find out, and that is to tune in. As always, you'll be joined by me, the prodigy Alfie Jaxyn, and you will be joined by the pitbull, the best looking, who knows what's cooking, hybrid, to get your monthly catch up on our opinions and thoughts. Also, we will be letting the fans choose the top 5 moments of the last show. Thank you, Brandon. Thank you for having us on. It's been a huge pleasure. I'm looking forward to see whoever else you get on. And to anyone that's watching that's a fan of IWF, thank you. I'm going to go off now because I'm starving, but I'll speak to you later.
You have a good one, good sir. And we all hope everybody has a great day, good night, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever y'all may be. Peace out.
In a bit.